As a brand new follower of Jesus in my college days, I tried to be a really good witness. I think I failed in so many ways, but I tried to be a good witness to my fraternity brothers. And I would invite them to go to church or invite them to go to our campus Christian fellowship group. And nobody ever took me up on it except one Sunday. My fraternity brother, Steve, said that he would attend church with me, but he didn't want to go to Sunday school. I had to go early for Sunday school, but he would meet me at church, First Baptist Church, Danville, Kentucky, and I was excited. But Steve never showed up. And I was, of course, a little bit disappointed when I got back to the fraternity house, and there was Steve. And I was like, Steve, you didn't go to church. He said, yes, I did. And he was very upset because, as it turns out, there was a First Baptist Church on Broadway, which I attended, but there was also in the same town, 4 blocks away on Walnut Street, another church of the same name, First Baptist Church. And Steve went to the Walnut Street First Baptist Church. And the thing is, as he told me the story, he knew it was not the church that I attended, but he was going to stay. Something, however, kept him from staying there. He got up and left. Why? Because somebody came up to him and told him, I think you're in the wrong church. Why did somebody approach Steve and say, I think you're in the wrong church? I'll tell you why. It was because he was the only white person in the church. Yes, Danville, Kentucky, I think still has 2 First Baptist churches, one which is almost all white and the other which is almost all black. And I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I haven't delved into the history. I don't know if there was any acrimony in the history of the Baptists in Danville, Kentucky. I have no idea. I'm sure each group can have their own church and it's fine in the sight of the Lord. But for my friend Steve, it was terribly upsetting. He felt as though he had been kicked out of church. And really his despair was twofold. One is that he came to a realization that there is white church and there is black church. And for him, as an unbeliever, as a non-Christian with no real Christian history, that was a problem for him. And the other was the feeling that he had that based on his race, he was asked to leave church. I'm totally sure that whoever said whatever they said to him was just being helpful. It was just so obvious that he was looking for a white friend who attended a different Baptist church. But Steve took that personally. And I think it just drives home the point that Paul is making in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 3, when he tells us who are members of the church, make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. That is an admonition, a command from Paul, a command of Scripture to which we must pay close attention. And though we might go to different churches and we might feel comfortable in a church with a style that has worship music that really resonates with our own soul, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having different churches to serve different ethnicities. That's happened as a way of reaching different ethnicities with the gospel throughout history. But where we can be one across racial and ethnic lines, I believe it's an important witness to the world, just like to my friend Steve. And that's why we at Victory Church, which is a very multi-ethnic, multiracial, multinational kind of church, that we make every effort not to let things that divide people in the world to divide us. We have to make an effort to maintain, to keep the unity of the Spirit and this bond of peace that God has created by His work, by His grace, by the love of Jesus in our lives. So, Victory Church, we really are an answer to a lot of the questions that people have about Christianity, just by virtue of the fact of our coming together across divisions that in much of the world right now are creating chaos. But God has given us a bond with each other that can't be broken unless we break it. So let's make every effort to really stand together. And I think that the Steves of this world will receive a powerful witness, and a wonderful welcome into an experience with God and the care of God's family.
I trust this word has been a source of strength and comfort. During this trying time, our church is bringing you these words every day, Tuesday through Saturday. Also, you can join us online for interactive live stream services throughout the day and evening on Sundays starting at 9 a.m. and then on Monday at 7 p.m. You can find the links to all the online resources to stay connected as God's family at getvictory.net. Until next time, let's stay in God's presence and peace.